Hi everybody, just a very quick video about the latest thing I've come up with one of those things with whom I've been dealing most, which is just to know is the use for general purpose simulators, including simulations in video games, the use of the Lagrangian dynamics. Which, although it's taught in academic contexts and so on, it's not very used in developing simulators used in games and for other general purpose things. The reason for this is that although it has lots of advantages, it has also some limitations for which a solution doesn't appear in the usual academic presentations of this method. Very fine to say it very quickly. The problem with this method usually is, if you saw also some of my previous videos about these or software, you could see that wherever spherical coordinates are used, and this is often impossible to avoid, there are some configurations of a dynamical system where the simulation leads to the attempt to solve a linear system which is not solvable. It has an associated matrix which is not invertible because its determinant is zero, and this happens also for numerical derivation, unfortunately. And since this is very difficult to come up with some trick to jump over, we could say, these critical configurations of a dynamical system, this method, which is called the Lagrangian method, probably this is the main reason it's not so much used or taught at all. But since I became interested in this method quite a lot of time ago, and I've dedicated a lot of time to investigate it and its applications, finally I came up with a formulation of it which has no of these critical points, and it can do everything as well as the other methods. But of course, considering for the simulation only for the simulation of a dynamical system, only as many degrees of freedom as a system has, so that the heaviness of the simulation procedure is proportional to the square of the number of degrees of freedom. This has 7, for example, and not to the square of the number of bodies, rigid bodies or points, we could say, appearing in the dynamical systems to simulate. And very fine. This is I didn't have time to put together some better shows to show this method at work, but moment please. But only one example with the simulation of a suspension bridge to show that this really doesn't have these critical points, and has also other advantages, such as the fact that it doesn't abuse so much the use of sinus and cosinus functions, which are much slower to evaluate on any computer system, especially home computer systems, much slower than evaluating a product or a sum or anything like this. Well, As I said, I didn't have time to prepare any better example, but I thought that this one could do. A bridge made of a first rigid body connected with a universal joint to a point, a rigid body which can explore all the 3 degrees of freedom for its orientation. It can have any orientation, as you can see. Very fine. And the others are connected to it. Let me show it. The others are connected to this first rigid body through hinge joints, each of which adds, of course, 1 degree of freedom to the system to make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees of freedom in total. And these are 2 springs, and that's all. No critical points. And it's also very performant. Well, that's all. There will be, of course, future evolutions, especially with the application of this novel approach to this fantastic method. And I will put into some links to the future applications in the description of the video. Again, sorry if this was made in a hurry, but that's all that I could do. Bye bye.